This is not a paid endorsement. The Aquarium Encounters in the Florida Keys is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7 days a week, located at 11710 Overseas Highway, Marathon, Florida 33050 in the United States of America. Aquarium Encounters has been around for 30 years of passionate ocean work. The founders of the Marathon Marine Parks are industry leaders in the field of capture, transport, and relocation of sharks, tropical fish, and other marine sea life for aquariums and private businesses across the world.
If you catch Andrew Leaf, you will not be taking them home with you. But that's not really too much of a problem as you don't want them on your dinner plate anyway. Not only do they have those large armored scales, making it very hard to get the meat inside, once you do, it's just not worth it. Not only does their meat not taste all that good, they're also going to be full of little tiny bones. Our parrotfish. Now we saw the green and orange out here in this center section. Those are the rainbows. And then the nice bright blue ones over by George were the blue and midnight. Now these three species of parrots will reach about a 4-foot length full size. So they're going to get extremely large. However, there are going to be 18 documented species right here in the Keys, and they are one of our most essential to our local ecosystem. These parrotfish, their main diet is algae. They use a hard, sharp beak to scrape that algae out of rocks and dead coral skeletons, and through that process, they make space for new corals and sponges to grow. Also in here, we do have our black grouper. His name is Murphy. He was kind of that grayish one going around, that black color on the end of his fins. Now Murphy down here is going to be one of the only fish that can actually constantly change his color. And those canines are so large on the taxonomic scale, they are actually considered fangs, not teeth. You do not want to get in between him and his dinner. Then we also saw that porcupine pufferfish. He's right down there underneath that coral structure. That is Meatball. Now, of course, porcupine puffers and all pufferfish are notorious for that nice blowfish look, that nice big circle. And that is going to be a main defense mechanism. That's Murphy for you. These lionfish, nothing knows how to eat them because they do have 18 venomous spines. And trust me, not a fun week. They actually showed up from the Indian and Pacific Oceans around the 60s and 70s. Their populations, though, started growing exponentially in the 80s, absolutely exploding because they have no natural predators.
This is actually a cool place. It's not, I guess to say, your big tank aquarium, but it has a lot of animals and native species of the place that you are visiting, which is totally awesome.
I'm going to tell you that before I our black-nosed sharks. They may look like juveniles, but they are going to be full-grown adults. And that bigger one right there, that is one of our 5 sandbar sharks. We got the 3 stacked all on top of each other. Now those sandbars are going to reach about a 5 to 8 foot length, so they're not near done growing. We also have one that looks very similar back against that back wall, swimming towards the left right now, and that is going to be our one that's known as a black-tip shark. Now black-tips are going to be one of the more aggressive species that we have here. We had 2 for a while, the other fish did not appreciate it, so we're back down. They're going to be pretty cool because they don't have a tongue. Since they don't have a tongue, that means they can't swallow. So instead what they're going to use to eat is known as a pharyngeal jaw. As they open their mouth, they have a second set of jaws that opens right behind the first, and as they bite down, it pulls the food all the way down their throat and into their gullet. If you've ever seen the movie Alien, this is what they based it off of. Why make something up when the perfect inspiration's right there for you?
That is the first live one that I've seen.
Dragging the surface with his fin like in the movies.
Yeah.
That's the black tip.
They do that
to cut water. Yeah, just helps with nice and streamlined. Then those big ones right there, those 2 are going to be your cobias. The cobia, there's another one up at the surface. They do like to gasp at the surface because they can take in air to use for excess energy.
Oh.
Yep, and ours are just really, really fat. Yes, I do. I absolutely love what I do. For me, this is just fun. I honestly haven't worked a day in my life in Tank. This is going to be home to our final encounter. So if you actually want to jump right in here with my 2,000 closest friends, one of our scuba instructors will take you snorkeling or scuba diving. You get to hand and bottle feed all of these fish and rays, and then hand feed the sharks we were just looking at. We have 2 feeding windows right there in the center with some holes in it. Stick the fish through and the shark will come up and take it. ball that we have right in there, that is going to be a fairly common behavior in a lot of schooling fish, and they're going to do that mainly as protection. The phrase safety in numbers personified, this is going to help make sure that those large predators have a very hard time catching just one. So as they all work together swimming in that large circle, they're going to utilize their sixth sense known as a lateral line. It's a line of nerves running all the way down each side of their body, and it's going to allow them to actually pick up on any changes so each fish can feel the ones directly around him. As they do so, they can all work together as a single unit.
That's cool.
Yep. Now, of course, there's going to be some animals that have learned how to fish these guys anyway, even though they are working together in schools. Some great example is actually going to be our Thresher Shark. What they do with that long whip-like tail, almost the same length as their body, they're going to use it to actually hit the side of the bait ball, stunning or killing everything in there. Swing back around, just pick them up. Then you also have something like our turtle or whales and dolphins, and what they're going to do is use their blowholes going around these bait balls, blowing bubbles and condensing them smaller and smaller. Then they'll take turns running right through the center.
That's amazing.
Yep. No, so it's going to be pretty cool, all the different behaviors they have.
Have you gotten to go in there and swim and...
Oh yeah, no, we get in here and clean these tanks every day. No, but with our lobsters, they are going to actually be called indeterminate growers. So they don't have a max size. They'll grow all the way until the day they die.
Oh, wow.
Every year they shed their outer skeleton in a process known as molting. And as they do so, they shed everything from the eyeballs to the hairs on their legs. You can actually see one hanging right there in the center, right up on top. Now for that molting process, they'll go ahead and crawl out right in between the top of the body and the tail. It folds back. And as they do so, they're going to get noticeably larger by inhaling a whole bunch of water. As they do that, it'll take about 3 to 4 days to reharden that new exoskeleton. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and swing around right here behind us as well.
How big can they get?
Those southern stingrays can get up to a 6.5 foot wingspan. The largest one in here is Big Mama. She's right now at 5.5. These counters raised down here will max out about 2 to 3 feet. All right, now right over here, our Caribbean tiny lobsters. These are not going to be a touch take today, as they do live up to their name, covered in Thresher Shark spine. This is our second meal.
Waffles, that's
Look at this one.
Yep, that's waffles. Well, these cownoses were born right at the end of January and February, so they're just a few months old. However, the yellow spotted rays down on the bottom, the Atlantic with the pointed nose, our guitarfish, and the one southern are almost full-grown adults. They're not going to get all that large throughout their life. Then up on top of that mini nursery on the right-hand side, we have 2 baby guitarfish. They were actually just born on March 20th, so they're barely a month old. Those guitarfish are pretty cool. They're not quite a shark, not quite a ray. They're going to be more in that chimera group, having characteristics of both of those families. Alright. Now if you look right in front of us as well, we also have a big shark day.
She says they love the attention. Yeah. They're like puppies. Excuse me, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?